So these are the mortar bins. They're the smaller ones. It has some measurements here. It says it's 21 inches long. I got them at Home Depot. And if you want to look at the little SKU number that came on the package, this is it. So what I do is, since I want more worms in it compared to my other ones, the gray tubs I have on the wall, I'm combining them in two. So I'm putting two of those in one of these. So I'm gonna go get them for you. So right now I'm working on the wall that I have red tape on. So we're just gonna set up these breeders. Oh my gosh, look at them. Look, they're like, guys, you're moving to a new home that I think you're gonna be happy in. So I just take the old bin and I gently scrape it and dump it in here. So their bedding in here is made of peat moss, dolomite lime, azomite minerals, and rabbit manure. Now you don't have to use rabbit manure, but there's a kid that I get the rabbit manure from on eBay, and he doesn't worm them, he doesn't do anything like that, so I've had a lot of success. But you know, I did this without rabbit manure for many years, but I just noticed that the worms just, they love it. Now I'm gonna give them this back when I'm done setting them up. So I take the time now to like just look at them and just check and make sure I don't see like any problems, like any red mites or anything, because I'm telling you, things happen. It just does. So I'm gonna spread them out. Let me see if I could bring you any closer before I get the other bin. Well, I tried bringing you closer and it didn't work. All I did was mess it up even more. So I'm gonna go get the second tub. So these tubs are only full of the adult breeders. If you put worms in here that are not ready for reproducing, it's not gonna work. You're gonna have to wait a while. But the rotating of them out every 3 weeks, I mean, if they're not ready to reproduce, you're not gonna have any cocoons or anything to rotate out. So it's really important that you start out with mature worms. And like you've seen me do, if you leave them in here too long and they start hatching, I've tried the motorized sifter and I've tried the rolly sifter. It doesn't work. Babies get caught. The only sifter that I've seen that works for me with that is the round plastic one that I use. For some reason, because the inside is so smooth, the babies don't get caught. But I just do the light method and I do it by hand. And it works fine. And these breeder worms are looking awesome. So now I have my 2 trays in here, right? You don't need a lot of depth in these things because, first of all, they don't need it. And then the second thing is they'll get too heavy for you to carry. And I personally can't carry like extremely heavy things like all the time. I'll be like exhausted by the time. So I would say it's about 2 inches deep, maybe 3 at the most. So now I'm going to get the manure that I pre-make. So rabbit manure, I just throw it in there. But this is, I have some pre-composted cow manure. So I'm just going to mix it in. Now I did pre-compost this about a week before. I let it heat up and then I let it cool down and it's been fine. And the worms just, they love it. So now I start bringing them in. So the moisture level in this is okay for a standard worm bin, you know. Now when I do this, guys, I don't squeeze them hard. Like I don't hurt any worms. So don't be afraid to do that. Just don't, you know, that's okay. But for my breeding purposes, to me, this is not wet enough. So I give it a good mix. I spread it out. Now, listen, don't get scared when you see the amount of water I add to this. It's okay. It'll be fine, okay? I'm not drowning them, don't worry. Okay, so you guys know I like to reuse containers. I have these containers from Greek yogurt, and I put room temperature water, not ice, not hot, because they'll start running if it's hot. I just start mixing. And all this bedding in here will absorb it. It's got to be moist for them to like be encouraged to breed. It also, the extra water also plumps them up in here. So we're giving it a good mix. Now, if I add too much water, I can just add a little bit more bedding to absorb it. And if I add too little water, obviously I can just keep going. But this is pretty good. This is pretty good. There's some clumps in here that I just like to break up. So we're going to spread it out. Oh, I know they're going to be happy in here. So now I'm going to feed them some worm chow. If I had frozen food or some kind of food scrap, I would put it here and cover it. I do give my breeders food scraps besides chow, only because this bin up here is going to go through the 3-week rotation cycle. So by the time I get back to this, it'll be 3 weeks. That food scrap in there will be gone. So it won't be a mushy mess. So I'm going to get some worm chow. You know, some people feed their worm chow like a little bit each day, and you can do that. I just take a fistful and I go like this. And I've always done it this way because maybe tomorrow I'm going to be doing something else and I don't have time to come in here and feed them. So at least I know, peace of mind for a worm mom. I know they're fed and they're okay. So now I'm going to give them back that paper that they had because it's full of cocoons. There you go, big guy. Get back in there. So now I'm going to cover this with bubble wrap. Lately, I've been putting the bubble side down because I think it gives them more air. Plus, this gets air because I'm not sealing it completely, you know. Okay. So that worm bin is done for breeders. It goes on the wall with the others, and it gets sifted out every 3 weeks. So every 21 days. And the cocoons are set up to hatch. They usually hatch about a month later. And then it takes about 8 weeks, more or less, for them to grow up. And these are all approximate numbers. It all depends on your system, your environment, your temperature, especially your temperature. I notice that when it gets cold in here, my worms, like, they slow down a little bit. And when it's warmer in here, they perk back up. So anyway, this is how you set up red wigglers. I don't know how long this video is, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you all next time. Take care.